been a while since I've been able to review some minifigs by Minibigs, but today I have their brand new release from the end of January. It's going to include a very cool minifigure set, as well as some parts and an individual minifigure. So let's go ahead and empty out the box. And like usual, a nice variety of parts. You get some nice legs, something that they're very popular for. A set based on Ted Lasso, and another TV figure being Steve Brule from his show respectively. Get a nice Minibig sticker for free. And let's go ahead and jump into those minifigure parts. For the first parts combo from this order, I have their brand new purple gold legs, as well as the mustache face with the silver ink on dark purple as well. Torso is going to be an older one. I think I got this for my first Minibigs order even, so that's kind of cool to see some new parts going with that. For me, I go back and forth if I want to collect the more monochrome sort of designs, getting full colored figures. But at the same time, I'm not like a super huge fan of just getting one color. I want to get some variety just in case I want to do more with photos or anything like that. I do get a lot of purple though. Legs are going to be great where they have pretty much all the way around the outside wraparound printing. So you can see a little bit on the legs. When you bend them, it is going to break up the printing a little bit. But shoes look good. Looks like there's some bleed over on the top of that right side of the minifigure where it is going over the toe. The back belt continues. Back of the shoe printing also there, which is something that is improved from their older shoe prints where the backs weren't always printed. It's good to see them keep improving their designs and pushing themselves to do more printing. Overall, though, these legs are really just the one color with that metallic gold, other than the little belt buckle there, which is silver. Overall, it's an effective design, works for what they're going for, and it's good to see it work with other parts from their catalog. Face is great too, just going to be a normal classic style smiley face with a mustache. Nothing crazy, but is fun to have. And let's go to my other combo. It's going to be the same parts, but in different colors. So I have the dark red and gold here for the legs, and a black with the silver printing for the head. Another older torso being the mouse rat one here from Parks and Rec. And I just like the gold combo here on the maroon and the gold, as well as the purple and gold from Minnesota, and those are kind of the sports team colors, so that's why I did that. And it's interesting, the gold is bleeding over again on this foot, but not really on the other one, so I don't know why that is happening, but it's interesting to see that happen on both figures here. So I wonder if that's just something with the one pad for that side of the foot, that it does that on all of them, or if it is just a crazy coincidence that it only happened on the two that I have. Not sure. But again, just bringing up the different leg prints. This is probably one of the more popular Minibigs items where they've done several different shoe prints. They've done Nike, they've done Puma, I believe, and have featured really great printing. Some of my favorite leg parts. And I do think these are going to kind of add to that list of favorite legs. It's simplified since it is only the one color for the most part and a little bit of an accent color. But it's still cool and could be interesting to use for different suited characters or really anything else you could think of to use with these. And with that being said, let's go on to the first minifigure, which is going to be a character from Adult Swim, being Steve Brule from Check It Out, as well as being from Tim and Eric originally. I was trying to find out what episode this might be based on. It could be the boat episode or it could be the sushi episode, but overall it's just the suit he wears in pretty much every episode, featuring a nice dotted polka dot tie. And I do really like the shirt print as well, where it is kind of that salmon sort of darkish pink sort of color, so that's cool to see. Great belt printing, and really just a generic suit print. Seems like in the show his suit is more buttoned up, but that would kind of get rid of some of the detailing on the torso, so I could see why they wouldn't want to necessarily do that for the figure, because it would limit people from using it in other scenarios. On the back, it's going to be the typical Minibigs little collar print, which is fine, that works. At least you are getting some detailing on the back of the torso. Legs, no printing. But the face is also kind of interesting, where you could use this for different characters easily. Whether it is just like an angry nerd character or caveman with glasses, I don't know. But I could see that being pretty useful. Uses the Lego Afro piece, which I think is a good option. Nothing on the back of the head like usual. And, just another microphone for an accessory. I guess also the crab as an accessory. Didn't point those out yet. So it's kind of fun to get another crab piece. I do really like these parts. Has a stud on it on the top, and then an anti-stud, and then you can actually put bar elements in the claws. So it's a very useful part. Don't have a ton of them in my collection. So that's a nice little addition to the figure here. Not much else to say about this. I think it is a good representation of the character and is going to be a fun addition to your collection, especially if you're a fan of Adult Swim shows or even just memes. This is going to go along with the Steve Buscemi character pretty well, where they are both those TV meme type characters. So glad to get this one, and let's move on into the Ted Lasso set. With Steve out of the way, let's go ahead and check out the contents of the Enthusiastic Football Coach set, which will feature all 4 of the figures individually bagged to protect them during shipping and while they're in the package. Plus, you'll get a 2x4 Believe tile. And something that makes sense to point out here is that this is going to be out of 65. So I got 27 out of 65, a little bit more limited than some of the other figures that they've put out in the past. But I'm excited to take a look at these, so let's get into the reviews. For the first minifigure, let's just look at Nate. All of the torsos are going to be the same on these minifigures, and the legs are basically the same, but with some minor color differences. Face here, I feel like it is going for a bit more of a classic look, where I could see this in the early mid-2000s with Lego Batman, or maybe some of the Spider-Man sets that were in that 2006-ish range for Spider-Man 2, where it's not super detailed, but it's not super simple. It's kind of that weird Harry Potter in the middle sort of look. I think the hairpiece looks nice. It's good to get this one. I feel like it's a very useful hairpiece that you don't see very often on minifigures. It's nice to get more skin color representation. I think this is medium tan, medium flesh. So glad to get more minifigures with that look too. Now, getting to the legs and the torsos. The torso is going to feature a lot of different colors, so great detailing there with that. The line work seems to be pretty great. Even getting small details like the collar there, and also just the dog symbol and a little patch with a surrounding shape around that. It looks nice and clean. The legs, though, it looks like the white has some sort of coloring peeking through where it's not 100% solid white. You can see that there's a little bit of like waves at the top of the foot there where there is some shoe coloring. That's where the differences are going to be on these minifigures. Quick moving the arms out of the way. On the side of the leg, you can see there's a stripe and then also just more shoe printing. So like I already pointed out earlier, it's going to continue their line of leg print. And another minifigure comparison, they're male person. They're putting out a lot of really cool leg prints. And like I said, the white on this isn't perfect. It's passable from a distance. You might not even notice it as much on camera as I did when I had it like up to my face. But one downside is that the back of the leg is not going to be printed. So this is going to be like their original Nike legs, and unlike the Puma shoes, which had that back printing. I feel like it would have been nice to still get the white wrapping around. I wouldn't care about the other color detailing. But if they want to save costs on this, there are a lot of different colors printed on these, and each one would require a pad. So the quantity of colors and everything was already probably pretty high, and the set was a bit more expensive. Not unreasonable, but did cost a bit more. And obviously, there's a lot of reuse here between the figures, so I guess they probably cut some costs there as well. But good representation of the character. Let's move on to the next one. And let's go to Beard, since this is going to be the exact same torso and leg set from Nate earlier. The white might be a little bit better on these ones, honestly. And just going to the side of the leg, same look. Still seems to be the same quality, so that's good. Face is obviously going to be different though, and I do really like that. I'll just get the hat off to get rid of some of the shadowing, and I do like the reflective sunglasses there. I think this head is going to be very useful for people if they want to make different people or characters. Very non-specific, but also has great resemblance to the character, and is going to have a lot of utility there. And it's kind of weird on these like facial hair prints. There's no texture or anything, which I think is what throws them off to me. Since these are based off of real people and not comic book characters, I would, I guess, prefer some more detailing, whether it is a couple of lines going through it or just something that isn't just a straight shape. But like I was already saying, you add more colors, it adds more cost, adds more time. And you have to cut corners somewhere, I guess, to get a product out in a higher quantity. Fine. but happy with this one as well. And I think anybody that has seen Ted Lasso and likes the show is going to be happy. Let's move on to the next figure. And this is going to be Roy Kent, who's going to have a slightly different leg set, where you can see that the shoe is red instead of the black on the other two that we've looked at so far. So good to see some variety. The shaping is the same, so they would have used the same pad, but just switched out for red ink. And the side leg is also going to have that same red line as well, but just red shoe detailing instead of black, like I already said. On the back of the torso is going to feature the same little collar line. And the torso, it's going to be the exact same. So nothing really new to point out there. Same sort of issue with beard as Roy here, where I just feel like it's a little cartoony in the sense that the beard is just a solid color. And it is like a dark brown, and then the hair is black. Maybe that's accurate, maybe it's not, but I feel like for the most part I'd rather have the hair colors kind of match the beard. But you know, for some people, they don't necessarily match 100%, so can't knock them there too much. Eyes might be a little bit big on this one. Comparing these two, you kind of see it maybe. But I do think the thicker eyebrows look good. Mouth is simplified and kind of covered by the mustache above it. There's a good amount of detail on the faces. I just feel like they are that weird Harry Potter style detail again, where isn't going to 100% match in the rest of my collection, but maybe if you put these next to all the Minibigs minifigures, it's going to be pretty standard for the designs. I don't know, but for people that like the show, it's good to be getting these minifigures. Let's take the hairpiece off. I know there's not going to be any extra face printing, but there you go. Nothing there. It's good to see some variety in the minifigures with the different colored shoes here. So not everybody's going to be the same. And with Roy out of the way, let's go to the last minifigure, being Ted. And since he is the last minifigure, I'll include the only accessory that was included in the set, other than like the hair pieces, obviously, being the believe sign. Just like in the show, it's very off-center. Features a little paint splatter there as well. And that's just a nice little thing to get. I guess you could make a little vignette with the wall, hang it up above the doorway. So cool to see that. And now to Ted, where he again is going to have all unique parts. So good to see that. Just like Roy, the feet are going to be different colors since he has blue instead of the black or the red. It's going to be the same design, obviously, but different colors. Back of the torso is the exact same. Getting to the front, though, you can see that there are some differences where he has the shirt collar kind of peeking through, but the rest of the torso is going to be the exact same design. So they probably printed the normal torso, then printed the white over it, and then more black over that. So it is going to be the exact same torso, other than the little bit. Head here, I think, is going to be good for Jason Sudeikis. Same complaints where I feel like the blob of a mustache looks a little bit off. I would have liked a little bit more detailing on that, like the other facial hair minifigures, but they're going for their certain style here. I get it, and it is going to fit consistently with all the other minifigures in the set, and I guess that's really all you have to care about in a scenario like this. Hairpiece is going to be a good choice for the character. I have seen people use other swooped over minifigure hairs for the character, and I do think that those could look good too, and I'll show that off quick. And you can see how that looks here, and honestly I feel like I like the texture on this hair a lot more than the other one. Probably a lot closer to the hairstyle that Ted has. The comb over is on the other side where they're parts, so it should be going the other way, so I guess that would make sense why they would want to use this one. So minor inaccuracy there. And I'm sure they just didn't want to use the same hairpiece as they used for Roy on two figures. This one might not even be the most accurate for him, so I'm going to throw on minifigure hairpiece on Roy as well. And I thought this one could be a pretty good fit. The hair colors match a little bit better. It's still not perfect though, but that's what that one looks like. Let's try out another combo. And also this more generic male hairpiece. I think this is also kind of close, but not perfect. I just think this is one of the tougher likenesses to hit, especially in the hair department, where he has that short hair that doesn't really have a lot of texture to it, but you don't want to give him the generic 70s male hairpiece where it's completely smooth. So you just got to pick something for him, but here are some options to see that. Let's go back to Ted. I'll definitely say, though, this is my preferred look for Ted. I'm not going to switch back the hair on this one. I think this just looks better. But for people that want to keep it purist to what Minibigs put out, you know, you can keep the smooth hairpiece on, but just wanted to show this off too. Overall, put a bunch of very detailed minifigures in this set. It's going to be very cool for the fans of the show. Glad Minibigs was able to put this out, and let's go to some comparisons and the final verdict. I think Minibigs has really started a nice line of TV minifigures with these Ted Lasso figures for sure, and also a couple of It's Always Sunny figures they've done, as well as the torsos for those, and just from more of those comedic characters. For the Ted Lasso set, I would definitely say there are going to be some nice detailed prints in these. You know, the style might be very specific to these, and it might not match all the other characters that you might have in your collection, but getting 4 core characters in one set makes it pretty easy to justify having that in your collection, since they do just go along with each other. Fine, that is what it is. Like always, just the individual minifigure parts that they put out are great. I'm glad to have more legs as well as 2 very fun heads. I definitely have to figure out more fun ways to use my parts. And it would be interesting to see more larger minifigure sets like this. You know, they did Pulp Fiction in the very classic style. That was also a collaboration. And it would be cool to see these sneaker prints again on legs, not necessarily with the logos for the Ted Lasso team. But I understand why they would want them to be specific in this case to make them more accurate to the source material. I think the tile print is great. And honestly, their tile prints always turn out really awesome. So I don't ever see that being an issue. But let me know, what do you think of the Ted Lasso set? I feel like my only complaint with these minifigures is that the hair pieces available from LEGO just don't 100% fit what is needed to match the characters. Not a hit on Minibigs for sure. I feel like these are just going to end up being figures that as LEGO puts out more parts, you might want to upgrade characters, different hairstyles as you can. I think it is sold out now, but if you were able to pick one up, would you? And what other TV characters would you want to see from them? I just need to see the rest of the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia cast. Need figures of those in my collection. If you want to see more Minibigs reviews or custom LEGO videos overall, check out all the videos on my channel. I've been Brick Radiop, and I'll see you in the next video.